Welcome to How to Fill Out the IELCE IET Report by Lori Howard.
The IELCE plan has now become the IELCE report. It's the same, almost the same thing, but a new name. And that is because the word report more reflects what it is that you are reporting at this first bullet here, the implementation of the IELCE programs from July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. So when you report on April 30th, you're telling everything that you have done from July 1 through April 30th and beyond from April 30th to June 30th. So it's for the whole year. So even though you handed it in April, you should talk about also what is going to be going on or what is going to be continuing for the rest of the year until June 30th. So it's a report about the whole 12 months program year. You're also to report any new IELCE programs that you plan for 2021, 22, and it's optional because maybe you have no new plans. So, but if you do have a new plan, you need to fill out that part. The optional part is if you don't have anything new going on for the subsequent year. The third bullet, I just want to briefly summarize here the new parts. We removed the dates and times of the courses. I think that was the onerous part of the document. Some of you one semester did it at a certain time of day and then you changed the time and it was hard to reflect that, and we asked you to put that information in the comments. Now that's gone, but it's replaced with a description of how your courses are conducted concurrently, because the reason the times and dates were there was so that the reviewers and your CDE consultants could see that you were doing these courses concurrently. That's still a requirement. So we're going to ask you to describe how you do it and tell us how those courses are done concurrently, but you don't have to, and you can talk about the dates and times in a written format. You don't have to fill in the chart for each of the courses, which was difficult for you, especially for you large programs. So we hope that that will make it easier for you. I'm going to show you all about this. We've also added some extra save and close buttons, which we hope, I know that some people had some problems saving. We're hoping these new buttons will help you ensure that what you put in is saved and the first time, and a few more instructions too to make it clearer. And then the report about 21, 22 is also simplified a lot, so that will be a lot easier for you to do. And I just want to remind you that you always use Chrome when you go into this report. It's really, it won't show up the way it needs to in other platforms, so you should use Chrome. Also, if you can't see everything you think you should be able to see, make sure you adjust your view on your own computer so that you can see everything, because there are save and close buttons, etc. on most sections, and you need to be able to access those. If you can't see them, it's the way your computer is set up. So I hope this is clear just as an overview, and then I'm going to go over each slide. Okay, so I'm going to first talk about access. First of all, the access to the IELCE report will be February 1st. And you can access the SIP at this link. You should be able to find the SIP. You'll need to log in as it shows here on the picture, and then you should find the SIP here. I would assume it's going to be right to the right, but I'm not exactly sure. Another way to find it is on the CASAS website. So again, Monday, February 1st, you can access the SIP and the IELCE report at CASAS.org. This is the EL Civics page, California Civic Participation and IELCE. I know you're very, very familiar with that page. And if you look at the second item over here on the left, there's a button, and it's been there for a couple of years, California Integrated English Literacy and Civics Education Report. So you can click on that button, and if you do, you will get this page, and right in the middle is a summary of the report and all the items. And this summary has been there for a couple of months. I've shown it to you before. So you can know ahead of time before you open up the report, or if you're not the person who can sign into the report, you can see what the elements are here. At the bottom of this page, you will see this continuous improvement plan, SIP, and including the link to your 2019-20 IELCE plan. When you go to the SIP, you can access the 2019-20 plan that you submitted last year, so you can see if you need any information about what you put in last year. This is available to you. Also on the CASAS website, not on the OTAN site or the CDE site, you're able to access your 18-19 plan in case you want to, and the review that went with it. So in case that's useful to you, you have everything's available to you now on the CASAS website. When you click on the links, when you get to that page in OTAN and you've signed in and you see the SIP, and then in the SIP, you will find a button that says IELCE report. And if you click on that, then you will get to this page. This is the beginning of the report, and this happens to be housed in the CASAS website. And again, you have two buttons here. You can enter the report, which is to start filling out the report, or read and access your 2019 and 2020 report. This is where you can do that. Both of those items are available at this introduction page. You should read the introduction and follow along. As in the previous report, on page 1, there are the assurances and the assurance, the signature for the assurance. So everyone needs to put their name and title and their signature, again, electronic signature, and the date probably will come up when you submit it. Then page 2. Page 2 has all of the information for each program. So you will be submitting one page 2 for each program. And if you want to add a new one, you just press this add button up here on the left. So as this is open here, you just start and fill in this one. At the bottom, it'll say save and close. And then if you have a second program, you come back up here and press add, and you'll get a blank form. I think you'll recognize all of these. This is the same industry sector, career pathway, training program, etc. That's all the same teaching model. You fill in all of those forms as you have done in the past. I just want to mention that the training program should be the name of your course. Pharmacy assistant, for example, that's what they're learning how to do. So we would like the training program to be something concrete, the name of the training program that they're participating in, and we'll get them their certificate or credential or whatever it is you're putting in the other items. Continuing on page 2, you'll remember that there were 3 sections. I'm hoping you're seeing my arrow here: workforce training courses, workforce preparation activities, and literacy courses. And you are to click on the add button and fill in information for each of these. This is the section that has changed, and you can see over here on the left. Actually, I think I'm going to go to a bigger version of this, but when you click on that button, you see this here for add workforce training course. You'll see all the information, and now there's a save now button. So if you put anything in here, be sure to save. And then you would move on to the workforce preparation, press add, and you will open up this, and be sure to press save. I think I put another slide. Yes, I put a bigger slide. So these two are basically the same. Notice that it's asking you, as it did last time, the course title, but there's no dates or hours. Now it's just hours per week, number of weeks, total hours, your English language learner enrollment. Remember, we only want reported here the English language learners, not others. And then any descriptions you'd like to put here, you know, this class ended for lack of enrollment, or this is a 3-semester class and 2 semesters, it's at this time, and other 2 semesters it's at that time. However you think the information we need about your course, which may not be apparent to us as reviewers or CDE consultants, you should put in the comments. And then you'll notice in the workforce and in the literacy, there's an extra space. It's a drop-down menu for your civic objectives. Remember that this program requires co-op instruction, and so you need to put which civic objective for the co-op you are using. You put that here. If you're teaching it in the workforce preparation activity, you put it here. If you're teaching it in the literacy course, you put it in the literacy course. This civic objective dropdown is in both sections for the workforce preparation activity and for the literacy or ESL class. And again, be sure to use the save button. This report is for what you have done from July 1, 2020, or will do in the time to June 30th. Okay, continuing on page 2 is the single set of learning objectives. Again, you need to follow these instructions. List representative objectives that demonstrate the scope of the English language support for the specific workforce training course. The majority of you, by the end of your report last year or plan last year, you were doing a great job with this and were approved. So be sure to go back to your 1920 plan and see what you did and make sure you do it the same way. If it was approved, it's probably in good shape. So, and also remember, there's a training on the ELCE Civics website, Civic Participation and IELCE page, that talks about the single set of learning objectives and how to write them. And so if you're unsure about how to write your single set of learning objectives, be sure to do that training. The next item on page 2 is about providers. This looks pretty much the same, but we added some new instructions to make this a little bit clearer. I think there was a save button here. You fill this in, you save it, and then if you have more than one provider, you click on the new provider. Again, the provider can be your agency. So if you are offering the training at your agency, you are the provider. If your community college or other partner is offering the training, then they are the provider. You can have as many providers as you have offering the training. This is for the training provider. So the next section, program coordination and support. This is where the new question came in. So the new question, describe how your courses are conducted concurrently. And you see here at the red arrow, this is where the third question is. So this is where you need to provide all the information that will let your reviewer and your CDE consultant know that these courses were offered concurrently. Remember that that is a requirement of the IELCE program. And just for ease, I suggest that you answer these questions. Number 1, answer. Number 2, answer. Number 3, answer. Please, in doing that, you would be making it very easy for the reviewer and the CDE consultant to find the answer to that question and know that, yes, you have completed or given the information that is needed. If you have one paragraph and it's somewhere in there, it may be harder to find. So I suggest you answer question number 1, number it, number 1, answer question number 2, number it, number 2, number 3, and answer the question. That would be really easy and perhaps make it a lot easier for you as well. If you want to write a general statement, feel free to. You have 2,000 characters, but then please number 1, 2, 3 and answer those questions. That would be great. The same is true for the part B of the coordination. Number 1 and number 2, this is the same as last year. Answer those 2 questions, number them. That would be the easiest thing to do. It was the same as last year, the planning. This is the planning for the program that you are talking about in this section, the first page 2, whatever program you're talking about. Are you going to continue it or are you going to discontinue it? If you select in this action here, continuing, then it asks you if there are any changes for next year. You can put NA if there are no changes. Okay, it's just asking you if there are, please put them here. Maybe you're going to only offer it in a different term, or you're going to change the time, or you're, I don't know what it could be. Whatever changes there are, put it there. If there are no changes, just write NA. It's great to always fill in a blank, so NA would be acceptable so that we know that you did consider that there were no changes. So NA would be great. If you're discontinuing, then we need the reason for discontinuing, and that cannot be given by NA. You need to put something in there. At the bottom, it says save program. So you're saving the one program that you put in here. Let's say your pharmacy assistant, you put in here. If you didn't like what you wrote, you can delete it, but it's better to perhaps go up and just edit what you didn't like. But this is the save program button. And then you go back and add as many programs as you want, or as you have, I should say, as you have worked on in this year, 2020, 2021. So this is page 2, and there can be multiple pages too. Okay, now we're to page 3, and this is Carla's question. It says, complete if planning new programs for 21, 22. So this is for next year. We revised this to have it be only the first section, so you don't have to talk about the days and hours and the number of students and everything, because we know you won't, maybe don't know that. But if you're planning on something, whether or not you know for sure, put it in here, always good. At the bottom of this, I'm sorry, I couldn't include it. It says comments. There we go. Only first section and comments. So all you have to do is fill in the industry sector, the name of the training program, the kind of the model of teaching, and then there's a big box for comments. So that's the time, Carla, that you would say, we've applied for this, we hope to do it, but we haven't gotten approval yet. That's a great comment here. Anything you'd like to tell us. You know, you're working to partner with someone and you haven't gotten approval yet, but you'd like to do it and you're working on it and this is what you'd like. So this section is optional. If you have a plan, we'd like to know about it. If you don't have any plans, I think here in the new programs, it says, if you don't fill this in, we assume you have no new programs. And I see that it's not there yet, but this will be added. And it will say, if you don't fill this section in, we assume you have, it's better worded than that, than I just said, but we assume you don't have any new programs. Okay, so that's how that goes. And the last page, page 4, is the finalizing. So then you review, we ask you to review your report, make sure it's okay. And then you submit if you're ready. If you're not ready, you can go in there on Monday and start filling this out and hit save. And then when you go back in a month, you can edit and finish. It's not due until April 30th, but I suggest you begin if you can, because you know what you've done already. You could also begin in a Word document using the summary to know what the sections are, so that you can start doing it in a Word document and then be cutting and pasting into this. If you've done it. One thing, and then it says print a copy of the report. When you go to print, you can actually save a PDF version. That's one of the options under print in your computers. So I suggest that you save a PDF version in the print button, so that it will be electronic and you have a copy. So next year you won't have to worry whether we've put up your version of this year, etc. But we will be keeping it, but it's always good for you to have a copy. I did want to mention in program coordination, you know, we would like to hear it. We understand that you do things similarly for each program in terms of program support, et cetera, but we really don't want you to copy and paste exactly the same for everyone, because there's going to be adjustments. So we understand that some of the things will be the same, but we would prefer not to see just a copy, those sections copied and pasted. We would like to see any differences you have in that program coordination section.
Thank you for attending. Be sure and check the CASAS website for the forum date and time.